Hello and a warm welcome to Federal Special Program Capital Beat. Prime Minister Modi will be swearing in for the third time as Prime Minister on June 9th. Today, all the NDA leaders met in the Central Hall of Parliament and they proposed the name of Narendra Modi as the next Prime Minister. Now, if you look at the mandate this year, BJP has got 240 Lok Sabha seats, and it has to depend on crucial allies like Chandrababu Naidu, who has 16 Lok Sabha seats, and Nitish Kumar, whose party has won 12 Lok Sabha seats this time. But how dependable will these allies be? And what is going to be the next game plan of Chandrababu Naidu and Nitish Kumar when it comes to the priorities of governance and administration? Joining me now is the renowned social and political commentator and someone who's a renowned economist as well. Parkala Prabhakar joins us. So thank you so much for joining, Dr. Parkala. It's always a pleasure having you on the program. And for the federal, we had interviewed you much before the elections, and now Prime Minister Modi is swearing in for the third time. And just 2 days before I'm interviewing you. So, what I'm wanting to ask you is that now, since BJP has to depend on allies, whether it likes it or not, how dependable will these allies be, whether it is Chandrababu Naidu or whether it is Nitish Kumar?
Hello, Neelu. Thank you very much for having me again on your platform. I really enjoy having a conversation with you. Um,
Thank you, sir.
Neelu, I wouldn't like to jump the gun, but let me caution you. He is elected as the leader of the NDA alliance, parliamentary party leader, and probably he will be sworn in as the prime minister by the president of India and given maybe 2 weeks to prove his majority. And I would wait for him to prove the majority because it's not an easy thing. Because I'll tell you what, the NDA alliance that is now in place, and BJP on its own doesn't have the strength, as you said. It is not an ideological alliance. So the parties which are going to support him as part of the NDA are not at all ideologically having any affinity to BJP or the BJP's agenda or the Prime Minister Mr. Modi's agenda. If you look back, what he has done for the last 10 years. They are contextual allies, they are transactional allies, real political allies, probably even opportunistic alliances. So we'll have to wait and see.
But you said that we'll have to wait till the time Modi is able to prove his majority. Do you think that there would be doubts whether at all he's able to prove his majority?
I think I have my own doubts, Needu, because you see, as I told you, that this is not an ideological commitment that you see from the allies, especially the two allies that you're talking about, the Telugu Desam Party and the JDU. And they have their own agendas. And the agenda of Chandrababu Naidu and Nitish Kumar of JDU and TDP, on the one hand, and Mr. Modi's agenda and the BJP's agenda are like chalk and cheese. On many counts, especially the Hindu Muslim question, the NRC, the CAA, and Gyanavapi Mandir, and the other temple agenda that these people might have, Mathura temple, and all those. I do not think that these two leaders and these two political parties will be able to go whole hog with Mr. Narendra Modi and the BJP's thing. So I have my own doubts. Not only that, you see, in addition to the ideological differences, both these parties will have enormous demands on the union government. And Mr. Narendra Modi and the union government will have to every day wake up and look at these demands, fulfill those demands, and just before going to bed, look at the list once again and think, what have I fulfilled, and what are the things that are left for tomorrow morning. And tomorrow morning, wake up and you have a fresh set of demands. It is possible that way, and I think in the process, both these leaders and their demands and their concerns for whatever agenda that we talked about earlier will progressively wear Mr. Narendra Modi out. They wear him out.
No, But let's talk about the allies one by one, Dr. Parkala, and I want to talk about Chandrababu Naidu. You worked with him earlier also. So, what are the kind of demands which Naidu would put? Of course, we know about the special status package which he wants for Andhra. We also know that he wants a 4% reservation for Muslims, even in the manifesto. He was batting for 4% reservation for Muslims. But at the end of the day, can Naidu afford to be so transactional with BJP? Because at the end of the day, he has to answer back the people of Andhra as well, who've voted him with a full majority. So ultimately, the onus will lie on his shoulders also to run this alliance. It's just not that he can snap the alliance and break his ties with BJP.
No, I'm not suggesting that he would snap his ties, but the point is this, Nilu. I worked along with him in the government. But I'm not talking to you on the basis of my personal knowledge. But you know, please remember that Ms. Naidu was part of the NDA until 2018. In 2018, Naidu's TDP walked out of NDA mainly because of special category status to Andhra Pradesh. On that count, the center was unwilling to give it, although it was promised during the bifurcation and during the bifurcation bill being passed in Parliament. Both the then ruling party Congress as well as the main opposition BJP, both of them have supported that demand and promised that. And Mr. Narendra Modi, as the prime ministerial candidate during the campaign, time and again in Andhra Pradesh and elsewhere spoke about according special category status to Andhra Pradesh. But they went back on that. Now, today, they will have to come back and consider giving special category status to Andhra Pradesh. Now, I do not think that Chandrababu Naidu will be able to convince his voter and the people of Andhra Pradesh that I'm supporting the Modi led regime, NDA regime in Delhi, even though I'm not able to get special category status. This is something which is very, very important. And mind you, Chandrababu Naidu's victory is in spite of being an ally of BJP, not because of that. Because, because he allied for whatever tactical reasons with the BJP, he had to actually face a bit of a dissent from the minority community in Andhra Pradesh. But he assured them, I may be with the BJP, but I will not let any of your interests be harmed. I will protect you. That was the promise that he had given. So, therefore, I think Mr. Chandrababu Naidu and his party and his agenda will definitely act as a as something to stall and to stop Mr. Narendra Modi in his tracks and the NDA government in its tracks if it is going too far against the minorities and going to the out and out full-blooded Hindutva agenda, that kind of a thing.
What I'm wanting to ask you is that what happens? I mean, is it going to be that easy for Prime Minister Modi to immediately give a special status package to Andhra? I mean, is that going to be his first priority, given the fact that he's one of the most crucial allies on which the future of his government hinges? And so, therefore, the first priority would be to give a special category status to Andhra, because that is the mantra for Modi's survival.
Otherwise, it will be very difficult for Mr. Chandrababu Naidu to justify his association with the NDA and Mr. Narendra Modi. He'll be under tremendous pressure to give it. In addition to whatever ministerial berths and the key portfolios that Mr. Chandrababu Naidu is likely to demand. I mean, he is likely to demand those kind of a portfolios which are going to be directly benefiting the state in terms of devolution of funds and clearing of the irrigation projects and capital building of the new capital, because building of the new capital which he initiated and between 19 and now it's completely stalled. He would like to revive that project. So he needs funds for Amravati. He needs funds for Vijayawada Metro or Visakhapatnam Metro. Then he needs the unfulfilled promise of railway zone in Visakhapatnam. Of course, he would also like to have this long-standing demand of a special category status to be fulfilled. There's a range of demands that the state would he would like to see the state get from the central government.
But what I mean, knowing, I mean, Chandrababu Naidu very well. So, what would he have listed as his demands or maybe as his wish list? So, does he have all this listed out that look, this is priority number one, this is priority number two, three, four, and this is my term and condition that I then associate with you? Is that what a plain talk he must have had with Modi or Amit Shah or whoever? Must be Modi.
Neeru, I do not have first-hand knowledge of what might have transpired, but I could very well guess because I do not think Mr. Chandrababu Naidu's nature is that he would mince words when it comes to the interests of the state and demanding things that are necessary for the state. So he would have said it in plain language.
Hmm. And now that we know that they have associated with BJP, so what do we assume that all the demands will be fulfilled, or Modi still can backtrack? I mean, how do you see the things unfolding in the coming days?
If Mr. Modi backtracks, then it will be difficult life for him, isn't it? Because his government rests on Mr. Chandrababu Naidu's and Mr. Nitish Kumar's support. Without those two, it's very difficult. And very similar demands would also come from Mr. Nitish Kumar, because the Bihar also would like to have a special package, financial package, maybe even special category status, and then there's so many other things. And you see, politically, if you see, politically and programmatically, Mr. Nitish Kumar is in favor of caste census. The BJP is opposed to it tooth and nail. That is the reason why I said, this alliance, especially these two crucial partners, and the BJP on the other side, they're like chalk and cheese. They just can't go. So their social vision, their vision for India, their economic vision, they just cannot go together.
So apparently, what we saw in Kashmir that ultimately BJP had to break away with PDP. So do you see a similar kind of a future of this association with Chandrababu Naidu?
As I said, Neelu, that I would still wait for Mr. Narendra Modi to cross the four test and get the majority. That is an important roadblock for him. Once he crosses that, then we will have to see. My feeling is that itself is going to be a huge hurdle. I won't be very surprised if he's unable to cross that. And even in case if even
No,
if
but what do you think would be the roadblocks? You said that you wouldn't be surprised if he's not able to cross the floor test. So what do you think are the biggest worries and concerns around the floor test? What are you assuming? Like what could happen?
um, you see the first thing is that he will have to give in and satisfy the demands that are being put forward by that will be put forward by Telugu Party and JDU. That is the biggest thing. Not only the demands in terms of Bihar and Andhra Pradesh and the interests of those states, but also the political demands of Telugu Party and JDU in terms of ministries, portfolios, governorships, and then various corporations, directorships of corporations, chairmanship of corporations. There's a host of things that both the leaders and both the parties will have a list of. So those lists will be submitted, and you see, it is not possible for these two leaders and these two political parties if it is not forthcoming, especially those which are very relevant to the state interests. It will become untenable for them to continue their association. Therefore,
So,
if you,
right.
yeah,
No,
If
no,
that
you
is
go ahead. Yeah,
if
go ahead.
that is the scenario, if that is the scenario, Neelu, I'm not immediately foreseeing a possibility of NDA collapsing. It is possible then that NDA might continue with these two parties and with these two leaders, but perhaps with a new leader altogether for the NDA.
New
That's the
leader, as in,
as a
you
prime
might, no, so you are hinting at the fact that if these two leaders do not give in to their demands, there could be a replacement of Prime Minister Modi. Are you hinting at that?
yes, that's exactly what I'm hinting at. That is a
No,
possibility.
but who's going to initiate after he's taken oath,
Who
after
will be?
he's
You see, the thing is, if Mr. Narendra Modi is proves to be very adamant about fulfilling these demands, either both political demands as well as the demands in the interest of the states, respective states, then there could be voices from within BJP. There could be voices from these two main allies, and there could be voices from within the mentor organization, the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. uh, why should we sacrifice an opportunity to form government and continue to be in the government just because one leader is not acceptable or one leader is not accepting the demands of the allies? There could be
no,
there could be a possibility of
but all this is acceptable on a premise that Modi will not be flexible or Modi will not be able to accommodate. But don't you think that we should give him a certain benefit of doubt? Now, in the last 2 3 days, whatever we have seen, of course, it is the initial round of meetings. He still hasn't sworn in, but the manner in which he's met Chandrababu Naidu, Nitish Kumar, he's met up with the other allies. I'm sure he would also realize the mandate which he has got, and he also knows very well, and he would be realizing, of course, that he can't sit on a high horse and be the prime minister of a coalition government. So why should we not give him that benefit of doubt and think that okay, he'll try and accommodate? But yes, there is a question: to what level can he accommodate? That is a question.
If you look at Mr. Narendra Modi's political career for about 2 decades or slightly over 2 decades, starting from Gandhinagar to Delhi, he has not run a coalition government, number one, and he has not run even a party government. I dare say that because he's always run both in Gandhinagar as well as in Delhi. He has run Modi government, not even a BJP government, let alone NDA government. This is one. The second thing is that both these leaders are are consummate tacticians. They've seen ups and downs in their political careers. They've seen victories as
Both
well as
leaders, as in you're talking about Modi and Naidu.
no. I'm talking about Mr. Nitish Kumar and Mr. Chandrababu Naidu.
Okay, okay.
They have seen ups and downs. They've seen defeats and victories. They know when to strike, when to retreat, and when to halt. They're very good at deciding when to fight and when to keep quiet, when to not fight, and they're also very good at striking compromises, uh, deal making, and, all that kind of a thing. And on the contrary, Mr. Narendra Modi has never seen ups and downs. He is straight away he came and became the chief minister and exercised full blown authority. He never had to sit down and convince his colleagues, other people, run an idea by them, take their approval, take their consent, convince them if there are any reservations. He never had to do that kind of a thing. He always had this my way or highway kind of a run all these more than 2 decades. Now if you say why won't he change, probably he might change, but I mean, given the past evidence, past experience, I would rather bet my money on not changing or not changing enough in order to sit with the big leaders and take their consent for every move. Uh, look at the way demonetization was done. Look at the way major decisions were taken. Look at the way nationwide lockdown is imposed just in about less than a few hours of notice. Now, If that were the kind of a track record that you had of the prime minister, imagine that such decisions will have to be first of all sounded out with these two leaders, taken their approval, taken their consent, convince them if they are not really on board. Needs a completely different kind of a mindset, Neeluji. And I do not see a possibility. I mean, if at all, it requires a complete inside out kind of a change, which means that you're expecting Mr. Narendra Modi to become like Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee. If you say, or if somebody says, yes, Mr. Narendra Modi can indeed become like Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, well, that's maybe a possibility. I do not know. I'm not ruling it out, but I feel it is very, very unlikely. If it were to be unlikely, then he heading an NDA government and continuing as the Prime Minister of NDA with this kind of a structure, to me, it looks unsustainable.
So, if it's unsustainable, how long do you see the shelf life of this government? Because now, why I'm asking you this question is that in October and November, you have elections in Maharashtra, you have elections in Haryana, there are elections in Jharkhand. So, what is going to be the shelf life of this government, according to you?
No, Neeluji, you're asking about the shelf life of a government. Where is the government? Which government you're talking about? Now, the first thing is NDA government headed by Narendra Modi, and I'm trying to say that it is very, very difficult for Narendra Modi's NDA government to pass the floor test, and and satisfy all the demands, both political as well as the administrative demands and funding demands and other things of the allies, main allies. Now, if it comes to
But
it that
Modi knows how to maneuver. Modi will know that floor test is going to be the biggest challenge which he has to surmount first. So why will he not agree? I mean, later at all, whether he backtracks or not, but at least till the time of the floor test, he will ensure that he agrees with all the demands of his allies, especially the crucial ones. I'm talking about the kingmakers, Naidu and Nitish.
yeah, if that is the case, it's even more dangerous. You commit and then you go back on that. It'll be more dangerous. There'll be bigger backlash. And if it were to be another leader heading NDA from within BJP, probably a bit of somebody who is skilled in deal making, making and talking to people, convincing them, accessible, and who has not alienated these leaders and within the party earlier, who can be accessible and friendly. If suppose somebody were to come, even then NDA government's sustenance for long years is not possible. What I see is that the life of this 18th Lok Sabha is going to be shorter. It is going to be over much earlier than later. That is what I foresee.
But do you think Naidu can afford to become so unreasonable? Because he would also have his vested interests, whether there's the Amravati project. They also know that, how the funds can be released. So, to what level can Naidu go and, sound that unreasonable?
Um, Neelaji, asking for funds for Amravati, asking for special category status, and asking for Vijayawada Metro, asking for Vishakhapatnam railway zone. In Andhra Pradesh, nobody thinks they're unreasonable because they are all part of the bifurcation deal. So Naidu will not be blamed if he asks for this and if he stands by these demands.
No, why I asked you this question was that Nitish also will have his own set of demands. The other smaller allies with one or two parties, they will also have their demands. So there has to be a certain priority which has to be made by the central government, by the Modi government. It's not that they will, just address to all the priorities like those that look. I'm putting these many lakh crores to Naidu, and this I've already parked it for Naidu, I've already parked it for Nitish, I've already parked it for Chirag Paswan, and then we go ahead with the, because the union budget also will be coming soon. So how
That
is
is,
Modi to manage? And also, I mean, people will still talk about that Naidu, to what level can he just keep on extracting his pound of flesh? I mean, he's already put out certain demands that he wants a speaker's post in the Lok Sabha, then he wants some creamy portfolios. Likewise, Nitish also has his demands. Yesterday, he's already said that, we'll try and go in for a review of Agniveer. And Rahul Gandhi yesterday spoke about this stock market scam, that, this should be investigated by a joint parliamentary committee. So, all of this, to what level can Modi withstand this pressure, and to what level the allies can push Modi? That is also there.
yeah. No, we have to see how this is going to play out. But the broader point I'm trying to make is that the ride is going to be very bumpy. And this will test the patience of somebody like Mr. Narendra Modi, who is not used to this kind of a thing. One. The second thing is, you see, nobody can really paint Mr. Naidu or Mr. Nitish Kumar of making unreasonable demands. If they ask for, special category status or funding for this project or that project or irrigation project, these are all the people's demands, isn't it? Now, if you can really, or if the Modi government or whichever government at the center, who runs the government, if they are able to tell the general public, look, these are unreasonable demands, then it's a different thing. But how will these demands be seen as unreasonable by the people of those respective states?
That is fine, that he has to cater to the demands of the people in his own state, but then carrying on with the central government along with Narendra Modi, the responsibility lies equally on Naidu and Nitish. They just cannot simply pull the plug and say that, look, my demands had not been met, so I'm going to withdraw support from the Modi government. Can they really do that?
You know,
Because a lot of eyes would be watching them as well,
uh,
whether it's Naidu or Nitish.
how did that happen earlier when it happened? That's one. It happened both with Mr. Nitish Kumar as well as with Mr. Naidu, didn't it? So another one. The another important thing, if I have to speak, keeping Andhra Pradesh in mind, Neeliji, see, BJP depends on Mr. Naidu's and his party, Telugu Desam Party. It's not true. Vice versa is not true. Mr. Naidu and Telugu Desam Party do not depend upon BJP there. Another thing is that Mr. Naidu and TDP have won despite being an ally of Narendra Modi and BJP. Not because of, nothing helped. Being in alliance with the BJP, part of NDA, and being in alliance with Mr. Narendra Modi did not really help Mr. Naidu at all. In fact, he could survive the murmurs and some kind of an opposition to that, because there's a huge anti-incumbency wave against Mr. Jagan Mohan Reddy. So therefore, I'm sure if I know and you know about it, Mr. Naidu also knows the nature of his mandate. The political leaders understand their mandate, isn't it? So they cannot overplay these things. They also know that, look, I stand very firmly on my ground in my own state. So I don't think that's going to be a huge issue for them.
So you are saying that the issue won't be with Naidu and Nitish, but the bigger issue will be with Modi, as to what extent he can adjust along with them. Is that what you're hinting at?
That's right. And then I also, made this proposition that given his past 20, 22 years in public life, what is available to us, we do not have access to his mind and how his mind works. But on the basis of what we have seen, the way he conducted himself, and the past 20, 22 years of his public life, uh, to me it seems it's very, very difficult for him to uh, effect a complete makeover of his personality and start becoming unlike Modi and more like Mr. Vajpayee.
So, what would you say towards the end? And this is my last question to you, Dr. Parkala. That you made an important news point, and you said that you find it difficult that Modi will not be able to pass the floor test. So, I want you to comment again in the end because the floor test will soon be done.
I'm
Yes.
not saying he will not be able to do that. I'm saying it's the biggest roadblock for him. One. And in case
But
he
why?
was,
Why do you say that this is going to be the biggest roadblock?
because by then all the deals will have to be agreed upon.
Okay.
Ministries will be have to be agreed upon, portfolios will have to be agreed upon, packages will have to be agreed upon. What exactly is he offering to the state of Bihar, what is exactly offering to the state of Andhra Pradesh, and to the both the allies. All this, Neeraj, please don't think that these things will be left to be vague kind of a thing. Everything will be put down on paper, and this is what they want, and how much are you going to give, and how much are you going to concede. All these things will be agreed upon prior to the floor test. And as you say, if for just passing the floor test, and it is agreed upon, but after that they might backtrack, then as I said, that will be even more dangerous, because the backlash will be even harsher.
Okay. There's another thing which people are talking about, and that is my last question to you, sir. That what happens if BJP doesn't have a majority? It has just about 240 Lok Sabha seats. Now, what happens? We've already seen in other states how the governments were broken, how MPs were poached, and if we see BJP treading a similar path now to cobble up numbers so that it has a good majority, uh, what is likely to happen there?
Oh, they will do everything. They will uh, you know uh, play every trick in the book to see that a lot of other party MPs are broken, parties are bought, MPs are bought. They've done this in Goa, they've done in Maharashtra, they've done elsewhere, in many places. In the northeast, they've done it without you and me even looking at it. A lot of governments were taken out. In Madhya Pradesh, they've done it. In Rajasthan, they tried to do it, but they couldn't do it. They'll do it, because you see, as I said earlier also, that they will be very, very unwilling to forego power, because once they forego power, and any political force which is inimical to them occupies the seat of power, all the mm, commissions and omissions, including the latest the stock market thing, and before that the electoral bonds, before that the PM cares and Rafael and Pegasus and many other things, will be dug up, and they will receive a huge setback to their political agenda. So they will
Thank you.
they will try every trick in the book.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Parkala. It's always a pleasure having you on the program. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.